Hello everybody. In this video, I wanted to talk about Donald Trump because I feel like I haven't spoken on him. I haven't really told you guys like what my opinion is. I did make a video a while back, well actually two, reacting to the debates between Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden and Donald Trump. But I felt like those reviews were very objective. Like I tried to just stay objective and not really talk about my feelings or my perspectives or my opinions on the matter. But anyway, well, first I want to say or mention that for me, politics is like entertainment, right? At least the politics that we see, the public sees, is like movies, right? They're just characters. They have a personality. Things happen, right? And people think things about them. So I don't really take it that seriously. For me, politics is just like a big circus, right? Even voting, you know, I've made my videos on what I think about voting, which is useless because, again, all those things are just like show, bread and circus for the people. And the real decisions that matter, the real players are behind the scenes, right? So I don't really take that superficial stuff into account. And plus, we're not going to really ever know who really decides things and how things are really decided, all right? But more or less, we can assume that they're decided in the same way anything is decided, right? It's just that that's, you know, information that's undisclosed, right? That's behind the scenes. But anyway, back to Trump. So my opinion of him, again, as this political character, right? As this political player on the surface, well, he's very vocal because he's Gemini. And, you know, he's part of the populist wave, which if we really see the world in which, you know, the world of affairs in which it currently is, the world affairs are basically running on populist ideals, right? Kind of like back in the day with Hitler. That's why it's easy to make this parallel between like Trump and Hitler, because they were both running on like these populist ideals, right? Like change by force and, you know, nationalistic pride and things like that, and saying basically what people want to hear, right? Now, promises aren't actions, right? So there's a big difference between those two things. And again, like all politicians, you know, making promises is part of their you know, qualities in their resume and their CVs, right? So you know, some make more promises than others, right? But again, Trump is very vocal. He's a Gemini, so he makes a lot of promises, so he gets a lot of attention, and he gets a lot of support because of that. Now, for me, Trump was kind of like this wild card that came on the scene. I think the fact that he won in 2016 was like a big you know, like he defied the odds, right? Apparently, right? In the circus, again, he defied the odds, and I thought that was very like noteworthy, right? Like the fact that he was able to win against all odds, against many people. Like he literally shut many people's mouths, right? So I guess that's an incredible achievement, right? To obtain, and because you can get the presidency. I mean, I think there are only like 3 to 5 stipulations to become president. One of them is like you have to be a citizen. The other ones you have to be over the age of 35. But there's really no like specifications or, you know, like very specific things that you have to, you know, have to be president. Like anybody can be president, right? As long as you just have those minimum requirements. So yeah, I mean, I think that was a great achievement. As in for office, what he does in office, it's really kind of just like what, like, you know, it reminded me of Frank Underwood when he gets to be president, and then it's like, okay, now what are you gonna do? And you know, not much is really done. You know, they say I mean, I think like the business approach that he took with other nations, you know, as far as foreign affairs were concerned, I think that was a good thing, right? Like he would talk to people. He was very diplomatic. I don't know if this was more of a, in terms of like, you know, I'm new to the job, this is my first time as president, like, you know, I'm gonna be nice to everybody. And then he loses the 2020 election, you know, January 6th happens and all that stuff. And then now he wins this election, and, you know, after the assassination attempts, you know, and seeing how he kind of started to gain more momentum, I also thought that that would be proportional to like him becoming more diplomatic, right? Which a lot of people saw and a lot of people talked about in the debates. A lot of people said, well, he doesn't lash out as much now. Like he seems more centered, he seems more diplomatic. What he says is more in line with the political landscape, right? He's not attacking people left and right, right? He's not offensive that much, right? Like he toned it down a little bit. And then after the assassination attempts, you know, everybody was kind of speculating that he would just be like this normal politician. Maybe he would do good, right? And, you know, I was like, yeah, like whatever. I don't really think much of the matter. But what for me has currently been a red flag are like the tweets that he's been the things that he's been posting on his social media account, Truth, excuse me, which people started talking about this recently. You know, dissing Canada, basically, like, you know, like one of the things that I think he did well was like the foreign affairs, right? Like speaking to foreign leaders and having good conversations, you know, being decent with them, North Korea, Russia, like, you know, everybody, I guess. And now he's like attacking Canada. I guess Trudeau is stepping down this week, but he attacked Trudeau. He called him governor, right, instead of president or prime minister. So I thought that was very like offensive. And not only in terms of like, you know, before he was dissing like, you know, the people in the United States, like he was dissing local people. You could kind of say compared to world affairs, he was, you know, talking bad about Rosie O'Donnell or other people, right? But now he's getting into matters of like international affairs, right? You know, he's been talking about NATO for a while now. NATO, you know, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, how he's gonna solve it, right? We're like, you know, 14 days away, it's January 6th. We're 14 days away from him being in office, and he said he would get that done like in the first day or the first couple of days or even before getting into office, which he hasn't done. You know, and I feel like he's a bit unhinged in that sense, like talking about, you know, Trudeau, talking about like the Panama Canal and like the Chinese that are there, some things like that, right? Like getting a lot into this international stuff. Now, I'm not very much of a pessimist, right? I don't think things are going to get out of hand. I think things are pretty much going to stay the same. But for me, the difference now is that he's vocal, he's very vocal, not about local matters, not about national matters like in the United States, but he's vocal about international things, right? Like he's meddling and he's attacking people that are outside of the United States, right? Like these international leaders. You know, and for me, it's kind of like, what? Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to him is like the unlimited fame, right? Again, I'm not a pessimist in that sense. I don't think things are going to get worse. I don't think there's going to be like a World War III or things like that. I think things are pretty much going to stay the same. He's just very vocal. He's more vocal about international affairs now, foreign affairs. But I do want to say that I think he has unlimited fame. Right, I've been seeing that everything that he says, you know, in his interview with Dr. Phil, he said something that, like, he didn't cash his check for president, right? Like he didn't take any money. Like he basically did the work for free, and that the media was constantly checking to see if he would take the money, right? So I think every month or something like that, they would confirm that he didn't take the money, and he says there was no news. Right, so if he would have taken it at one point, they probably would have reported that, right? And that's his ongoing battle against the fake news, which is actually very, very counterintuitive because it actually makes him way more popular, right? It gives him way more coverage, which I think the news is super stupid at. So it's like, if you guys are really trying to take him down, you know, even reporting the bad stuff, just don't report anything, right? Like there's so much coverage on him, so much, like it's incredible. So I feel like he has unlimited fame, right? Like anything he does, says, like basically all the things that he says are news, right? Like he can literally say like, you know, I was making a joke, like he can literally say like, I'm going to the bathroom, and that's news, right? Like, oh, Donald Trump goes to the bathroom, right? Like, and that's incredible, you know. It's like, I think he's like the most popular person in the world at the moment, right? Even this video, just by putting Donald Trump, it's probably gonna be like, oh, what's that about? Like, I want to know more on this guy, right? There was a movie made, documentaries, posts that come up on social media, just random posts like Donald Trump did this and that, and you know, he was a tycoon, or he got money handed down from his dad and he flipped 100,000 into millions, billions, whatever. And that's, I think, our fault, right? That's all of our fault, because all of us do that. Right now, I'm just jumping on the bandwagon here, obviously giving my opinion on this, but it's already a done deal, right? Like, even if I didn't make this video, like, it's just, you know, more pile on this big pile already of, you know, so much on him, like, out there already, right? Like, everything, like, is news, right, on him. Like, every week there's news about him, about what he said. He's done said something else. He's done said he's gonna do this or that, and it's news, breaking news, right? It's like, that's kind of overwhelming. It's exaggerating, right? But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. This Canada thing is a little bit late, but still, I thought I'd talk about it and let you guys know my thoughts. So that's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.